Hi everyone, I'm Shania and I will be presenting the Keystone Stars program. Keystone Stars is a part of the Office of Child Development and Early Learning here in the state of Pennsylvania. It strives to provide families access to higher quality services to better prepare children for school and life successes. Keystone Stars is a rating scale system and it has 4 levels. We will talk about that on the next slide. Keystone Stars stands for Standards, Training/Professional Development, Assistance, Resources, and Supports. The core principles of Keystone Stars are: 1. Using the whole child approach is essential to being able to accurately meet the needs of each and every child and their family. 2. Being a knowledgeable and responsive ECE professional or early childhood education professional is essential to the development of children and to support the families. 3. The constant building of positive relationships among the children, families, the ECE professionals, and communities are all essential for the growth and development of each child. These 3 core principles all include 4 fundamental values: inclusion, diversity, equity, and respect. The method of STARS is a tool of performance standards that help support the CQI, or continuous quality improvement, that positively impacts the services of each child and family that are in the programs that follow STARS. Those categories are: 1. Staff qualifications/professional development, 2. Early childhood programs, 3. Partnerships with families and communities, and 4. Leadership and management. A program that follows STARS is given a rating of 1 to 4 stars to show whether they meet all of the indicators of the categories I just mentioned. If you look below, I provided more information of each of the star levels and how they are received. The benefits of the STARS program is that children are in a safe and respectful environment in which they are learning new skills each and every day. Also, Keystone STARS is continuously proving to increase the quality of early childhood learning programs here in Pennsylvania by renewing their procedures and standards yearly. The example of a Keystone Stars program I chose is the center I work at. I work at a center that is rated as a 2-star. That means we meet all of the indicators for a 1-star and 2-star program.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brianna, and I'm going to be talking about the Reggio Emilia approach. So, I know I'm going to be going into the next slide, which will show you, you can read for yourself what that textbook definition would be. But basically, this is a collaborative learning between the child or student in the classroom and the teachers slash educators. It relies on a child's interests and allows them to freely express themselves inside of a classroom. So inside this classroom here, in this example, you can see that students in the back versus students to the right and students in the front here are working on all different types of things based on what they find interesting. And this is why I wanted to have this picture here, because before we move on to the next slide, I wanted you to have an understanding of what this classroom and what this approach looks like. So I know on the last slide we talked about briefly what that Reggio Emilia approach is and what that looks like in a classroom, but to kind of further that, it basically relies heavily on observation, whether that may be an observation from the teacher standpoint of view, more professional based observation, or even parent observation on what those interests may be. That's why on the core principles you will see collaboration, because it relies strongly on collaboration between families and the child, teachers and the child. So collaboration is a main principle of the child learning on this approach, as well as emergent curriculum. Emergent curriculum, there's not going to be a set-based curriculum. This is going to be relying heavily on what those child's interests are. And obviously, all children are going to be expressing interest in different things. That's why on the last slide that you've seen, there's different children working on different things. Sometimes the children are working by themselves. Sometimes there's 2, there could be 3. All children express themselves differently. All children want to learn different things. So that's where that emergent curriculum comes in. Representational development. If you look at the examples here, there's going to be a multitude of different ways of children wanting to express themselves, as well as teachers utilizing things inside of a classroom for those children to express themselves. So in these examples, I put that discovering and sorting different leaves and flowers when outside. This is covering like a nature aspect, playing house, utilizing things like kitchen and bedrooms. Playing house, it mimics that kind of everyday mom and dad, sister, brother. It mimics relationships, that ends up developing their social and even their physical development, allowing for multiple ways of imaginative play. Again, this really focuses on allowing kids to develop in a way, in in a way that fits their interests, but also in a way that meets the physical, social, emotional, cognitive developments. In-depth project is basically taking those interests and those topics that a student is interested about, and then having a teacher facilitate that. It's kind of like a bridge between the student and the topics. The teacher's kind of like the bridge there to bridge that gap. So any research that they have, they can use that to where they, to what direction they want to go. Now I know that everyone can read this slide here, but on the 7 benefits, the 2 main things that I want to focus in on are number 4 and 5, which basically says that the learning environment acts as a third educator. This approach is based heavily, like I said, on the individual interests of a child. So making sure that environment tailors the needs, wants, interests, etc., of the child is super important. So it does act as a third educator, and I think that is important to note there. The 5th one is our educators are partners, nurturers, and guides who help facilitate exploration of a children's interests as they work on short and long-term projects. Like I said before, I think having that gap between educators and students' interests, and kind of helping them bridge the interest that they want to learn about, while also incorporating, you know, so many different aspects, like the physical, the cognitive, like I said before. Bridging those together to incorporate a more collaborative learning style makes them more excited about learning. And this is why I think this approach is a great approach, and I honestly think it should be utilized more inside classrooms. Hello, everyone, it's Brianna again, and we're going to be talking about the project approach. So, similarly to the Reggio Emilia approach, it's similar in the aspect that it is very focused on a child's interest. So I'll talk more specifics in the next slide. But here you see a little boy, and he is presenting his project that he made of bottled cans or bottled goods, whatever it is, to his classmates. And this is what would be considered a project approach in a classroom. I just wanted to give a visual there before we move on to the next slide. Just to kind of further that, this type of approach allows for teachers to really focus in on students' strengths and their weaknesses, but as well as incorporate a child's creativity and interests to further their in-depth thinking and their problem-solving skills and things like that. This type of approach actually goes beyond the classroom because it really incorporates other elements. Like it says here, that it could incorporate math, reading, science, social, etc. But it also could incorporate like the environment. It could incorporate outside families. It could incorporate so many different things. So it really plays into the individuality of the child. By having this sense of individuality, the benefits of it is that it does increase motivation for children. It does, children are more likely to be motivated in something that they feel that they could have more creativity. It helps boost confidence. I mean, children can be proud of the work, proud of the projects that they're doing. So this is it. And another one would be that it supports the needs of dual language learners to have something, beyond, you know, where it may solely focus on the reading or writing aspect. They can use their creativity in another way to show that they do understand the concept of the topic that is being taught. This type of approach focuses on three different types of phases. So the first one would be beginning the project. The teachers would then collaborate with the student and kind of figure out the topics that are, strike interest. From there, it would be developing the project, working with the student to come up with ways that they could go about doing it, and materials that they need for the project, things like that, kind of formulating. It's like getting like the ingredients to baking, kind of. It's developing, getting everything you need to create something. And then finally, it's concluding the project. So basically, now that you have everything, now that you have all the ingredients, it's kind of like putting it all together to make this whole this whole recipe, or this whole thing, kind of this whole project in this case. The great thing about this approach is that it is so there's so many varieties of different things that you could do. Like in the example here would be, it could be about fall leaves. During outside time, they can collect leaves. During circle time, discuss the different colors that they found. Then during art time, the teacher can encourage children to glue their leaves on paper and create a collage of fall leaves. So this collage of fall leaves will look different amongst everybody. It's not going to be the same, from one student to another, depending on which leaves that they picked out. And that's where the creativity really shows. So it really does allow children to express themselves, but kind of all be on the same topic, if that makes sense. Be on the same topic of something that sparks interest.
Hi everyone, I'm Kimberly and I will be presenting to you Emergent Curriculum. The Emergent Curriculum is a philosophy of learning that focuses on being responsive to the interests, strengths, and needs of children. This approach emphasizes the importance of active engagement, exploration, and hands on experiences. Children are encouraged to ask questions and explore their world through play. Now, this curriculum is important because you expand their interests, and in return, you will promote learning to the children. By paying close attention to their likes, you can create a curriculum that saves you time. It is not only a fun learning experience for the children, but also for the teachers. The core principles of emergent curriculum is as follows: knowledge of child development. This includes social emotional, cognitive, language, and physical. Understanding of developmentally appropriate practice, also sensitivity to individual children's personal experiences and interests, and knowing that children learn through firsthand observation, play, and direct experiences. The methods and practices of emergent curriculum is that it follows a child-centered method that aims to create a meaningful and engaging learning experiences. Also, topics are organically sourced from the children and open-ended. The benefits of emergent curriculum is that it encourages children to have imagination, research, exploration, experimentation, and discussion. It supports the children's interests. It gives children a chance to have a voice. It enables hands-on learning opportunities, and it enhances children's observation skills. An example that I found for emergent curriculum is that, let's say during recess time, children notice a butterfly. The children start to ask questions about the life cycle of a butterfly. The teacher will continue their learning by creating a project about butterflies and the four stages in the metamorphosis process. Who's ready to play a game? So I left the questions blank just for you guys to see the recording for the actual answers to the questions. So true or false? Activities in the project approach should be inquiry based, skill based, and interest based. Hmm. The answer is true. It is not focused on one area but all three. True or false? The emergent curriculum places the emphasis on what the teacher wants the child to learn. True or false? Mm, 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 mm. The answer is false. It is based on the children's interests, not the teacher. Next question. True or false? In the Reggio Emilia approach, the environment is seen as the third teacher. Mm, 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 mm. The answer is true because our environment influences how we behave and what we pay attention to. Last question. True or false? The Keystone Stars is guided by the whole child approach. Mm, 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 mm. The answer is true because the whole child approach meets the holistic and individual needs to each and every child and family. Thank you for playing.